You hear about prisoners escaping, but never about them breaking back in afterward. Inside the prison, their cellmates had already started preparing. First, they used croton seeds to block each security camera one by one. Then they took dining trays and tinfoil, sealing up the windows, all to keep the warden from seeing what was happening inside. As soon as the race on TV was nearly over, the man's return plan officially kicked off. One of the prisoners took the metal needle from a guard's uniform, wrapped it in a paper towel, then stuck it into a power outlet to start a fire. Finally, they used this flame to trigger the fire alarm in the cafeteria. The warden was furious, but to prevent any harm to the inmates inside, he still called the prison's fire response team. By then, Joe and Jake, disguised as firefighters, were already waiting nearby. As soon as the fire truck pulled out, they snuck onto it, riding back into the prison openly, mixed in with the fire crew. Once everyone else got off to put out the fire, they slipped away from the truck, sneaking back to the infirmary without a sound. When the firefighters rushed anxiously to the fire site, they realized it was just a prank by the prisoners. Still, they held back their anger and gave the trash can a symbolic spray with the fire extinguisher. When the female doctor went to check the ward, the man was already lying there obediently. She had no idea that, in just a few short hours, he had snuck out and pulled off something big. Agents from the Investigation Bureau arrived promptly, but they found no trace of the crime at the scene. Tens of millions of dollars had vanished without a trace. However, they did have one witness, a race car driver who had a grudge against Jake. He and his colleague had run into the two escaping men in the underground passage, only to be badly beaten by them. Upon hearing this, the agent immediately called for the warden. But the warden knew full well that if the prison's chaos was exposed, he would likely lose his job. So he lied to the agent, covering up the prisoners' riot. Now the agent didn't know who to believe. But then something even more bizarre happened. Mike parked the car with the stolen money at a gas station. A few minutes later, he called the police, letting them recover the $20 million successfully. Once he'd done all this, he quietly walked away.